There are some incredible places in the world that you may have never heard of before. From amazing singing temples in India to breathtaking ice caves in Alaska, get ready to have your minds blown. Singing temples. Imagine walking into an ancient Hindu temple and discovering that some of the stone pillars can sing. Yep, you heard that right. Singing pillars. Let's dive into the fascinating world of these mysterious musical pillars, where history, art, and music blend in the most magical way. In ancient Hindu temples, there are pillars carved from stone that produce melodious sounds when gently tapped. These aren't ordinary sounds. They mimic traditional Indian musical instruments like the veena, flute, and tabla. Isn't that amazing? One of these singing temples is called the Meenakshi Amman Temple in Madurai, Tamil Nadu. This temple, built in the 17th century, features a hall known as the Thousand-Pillar Mandapam. Here, each pillar produces a different musical note when struck. It's like a stone orchestra just waiting to be played. And if you travel to Hampi, Karnataka, there's another singing temple called the Vitala Temple. Dating back to the 15th century, this UNESCO World Heritage Site is famous for its musical pillars that create sounds resembling various musical instruments. If you tap on one of the stone pillars, you'll hear music that transports you to another era.
School bell.
No, temple bell.
There are at least two other sites in India that have similar temples, like the Chinakasava and Veerabhadra temples. But how do these pillars produce music? The secret lies in the craftsmanship of ancient Indian artisans. Each pillar is meticulously carved from a single block of stone. The type of stone, the placement of the pillars, and their precise measurements all play a role in creating their unique musical qualities. When tapped, the pillar's stone resonates and amplifies sound waves, producing distinct musical notes. But why were these singing temples created in the first place? Well, according to legend, these pillars were designed to communicate with the gods. The unique vibrations and harmonics produced during rituals and ceremonies were believed to attract celestial beings, enhancing the spiritual connection between the mortal realm and the divine. The artisans who crafted these pillars were thought to be divinely inspired, guided by sacred geometry and proportions to create these melodious marvels. This blend of spirituality and science showcases that deep understanding of acoustics, resonance, and harmonic frequencies that ancient Indian craftsmen possessed. It sounds like these singing temples are truly remarkable relics from the past. So what's being done to preserve these pillars? Recognizing their historical and cultural significance, efforts are underway to conserve these priceless treasures. Expert artisans and conservators work diligently to protect and restore the intricate carvings and musical qualities of these pillars. Advanced scientific techniques are also used to study their acoustic properties, unraveling the secrets of their construction. Herons' levitating statue of Alexandria. Let's take a trip back in time to ancient Alexandria, where a brilliant inventor named Heron lived. Heron was like the Leonardo da Vinci of his time, crafting incredible inventions that seemed magical to the people around him. Some of his inventions included an early version of a vending machine and doors that opened by themselves. But perhaps the most amazing thing he created was a levitating statue. Listen to this and tell me your thoughts in the comments below. So, who exactly was Heron? Heron of Alexandria was a Greek mathematician and engineer who flourished around 62 AD. He taught at the famous Museum of Alexandria, which included the legendary Library of Alexandria, and wrote extensively on mathematics, physics, and mechanics. His writings are some of the earliest records of cybernetics, the study of systems, control, and communication. What made Heron so special was his ability to create machines that seemed to work like magic. Heron used simple elements in his inventions like steam, air, water, pressure, ropes, levers, and pulleys. Two prominent groups eagerly sought out his inventions: the formidable Roman military and the influential Greek church. How did he help with the military, you might be asking? Well, for the Romans, Heron designed war machines. One of his creations was one of the first versions of the Gatling gun, giving the Romans a significant advantage in battles. And what magical creations did he make for the church? The Greek church turned to Heron to rekindle people's faith. He created wonders like the weeping statue and the automatic doors to Athena's temple. But his most famous invention? Well, that was the levitating statue of Helios, the Greek sun god. It was literally a statue that appeared to float in mid-air. How cool is that? It was located in Alexandria's Serapeum temple complex, which was destroyed by Roman soldiers and was never rebuilt. How exactly he got the statue to levitate is a mystery, but some people believe that it was suspended magnetically. Those who believe this say that the statue was made of solid iron and that it floated thanks to a magnet that was fixed to the ceiling. It seems rather simple to us now, but back then this would have seemed like a miracle, like the soul of Helios himself had possessed the statue. Heron also designed mechanisms for Greek theatre, including an entirely mechanical puppet show that lasted 10 minutes. He even created something called the Aeolipile, or the Heron engine, which was the first steam engine ever invented. This device used steam to create rotary motion, a concept that was way ahead of its time. Though it was just a toy in Heron's era, imagine if it had been taken seriously. We might have seen steam-powered ships and trains in ancient times. So why weren't Heron's inventions used more widely? Well, despite his genius, many of Heron's creations were too advanced for his time. In fact, it took humanity centuries to rediscover and implement some of his ideas. And now for number 10, but first it's shout-out time. Big thank you to Shaggy Martin for your generous super thanks. Subscribe to join the Origins Explained family. Fingals Cave. Prepare to be amazed by the incredible Fingals Cave on the uninhabited island of Staffa. This spectacular natural wonder is both mysterious and beautiful, making it a must-see for adventurous explorers. What makes Fingals Cave so unique is that it's known for its striking hexagonal basalt columns, which were formed by intense volcanic activity about 60 million years ago. Walking through this place, you'll find yourself surrounded by unusual symmetrical pillars. The cave itself is 66 feet high, with an opening measuring 42 feet. These pillars are between 20 and 40 feet tall, creating a rather dramatic entrance. The cave was first discovered in 1772 when Sir Joseph Banks, a British explorer and naturalist, stumbled upon the cave during his expedition to Iceland. His discovery introduced the world to this natural wonder. But why is it called Fingals Cave? Well, according to legend, an Irish giant named Fingal built a pathway across the sea from the Giant's Causeway in Ireland to Scotland. He allegedly did this because he was tired of getting his feet wet. This pathway supposedly includes the island of Staffa. This cave is sometimes called the Cave of Music. But why? The cave earned this nickname due to the eerie and beautiful sounds produced by the waves echoing off the basalt columns. When Sir Walter Scott, the famous Scottish novelist and poet, visited the cave, he described the unearthly music as something that made the place feel like a naturally adorned cathedral where one touches the spirit of God. I mean, I'm sold. I want to visit this place immediately and see what all the hype is about. And that's not even the half of it. Fingals Cave isn't just famous for its beauty. It's also surrounded by mysterious magnetic anomalies. High magnetic readings have been recorded near the cave, adding another layer to its enigmatic appeal. There's even evidence that prehistoric people lived in the region about 8,000 years ago. Do you think they knew about these magnetic properties? It's fun to imagine what ancient myths and stories they might have created around this magical place. Nero's rotating banquet hall. At crazy Roman Emperor Nero's massive palace, the Donus Aurea or Golden Palace, there was a banquet hall that could rotate. This amazing feat of engineering was unknown to researchers until recently, when remnants of this rotating dining room were uncovered by archaeologists. This incredible room was designed to impress Nero's guests by rotating day and night, mimicking the rotation of the Earth. But how did it work? Well, the main dining room, which was over 50 feet in diameter, rested on a 13-foot wide pillar that was supported by 4 spherical mechanisms. These mechanisms were likely powered by a continuous flow of water, making the entire room spin. Just picture how amazed Nero's guests must have been. This extraordinary room was used to entertain government officials and VIPs. Nero's lifestyle was all about luxury and showing off his wealth and power. The heart of Roman social life was the banquet, combined with various forms of entertainment. Nero, often considering himself the center of attention, entertained his guests with poetry and songs. Archaeologists found the remains of the rotating mechanism and parts of the attached kitchen during routine maintenance on the Palatine Hill, one of Rome's 7 ancient hills. Ancient biographer Suetonius wrote about a rotating dining room in his biographies of Roman rulers, describing it as revolving day and night in time with the sky. But until the remains of this room were found, this account was nothing but a tall tale to researchers. I know what you're wondering. What other cool features did this hall have? Well, according to Suetonius, the ceiling of the rotating room had ivory panels that could slide back and forth to shower guests with flowers and perfume. Just think about how magical that would have been to experience. So what happened to Nero and his golden palace? Nero didn't get to enjoy his luxurious palace for long. The palace was completed in 68 AD, the same year Nero ended his own life amid a revolt. Despite his grand constructions, Nero was one of Rome's most unpopular emperors, known for his cruelty and lavish excesses. The Golden Palace covered nearly 200 acres, offering stunning views of the Roman Forum and a lake that was later drained to build the Colosseum. While Nero's reign ended dramatically, his architectural innovations like the rotating Banquet Hall continue to amaze us today. Uluru. Have you ever seen a giant rock that changes color? If not, you might want to book a trip to Australia, where you'll find the largest monolith in the world, called Uluru. Located in the Northern Territory, this massive sandstone monolith stands 1,135 feet high and stretches about 2 miles in length and width. This ginormous rock towers over the flat desert terrain around it. And believe it or not, Uluru was once completely underwater. Around 500 million years ago, shifting earth plates and a burst in pressure formed this giant rock. It's made entirely of sandstone, which is why no soil can be found on it. One of the coolest things about Uluru is how it changes color throughout the day due to the sun reflecting off its minerals. It can shift from orange to red to purple, making it a favorite subject for photographers. And guess what? Uluru, meaning Great Pebble, holds immense spiritual and cultural significance for the Aboriginal tribes in the area. The local legends say that Uluru was created by ancestral beings during the dream time, a period when divine beings shaped the earth and created life. According to one particular legend, a battle between 2 tribes over a beautiful lizard woman caused the earth to rise in grief, forming Uluru. But each part of Uluru has its own creation story. For instance, the southern side is said to have been formed by a war between poisonous and carpet snakes. The northwest side, however, was allegedly created by Mala, the hare wallaby people. Who were they? Well, Aboriginal myths say the Mala were ancestral beings who were depicted as hare wallabies, small marsupials found in Australia. These stories and the sacred sites around Uluru are passed down through generations, linking the Aboriginal people to their land and history. When European explorers came to Australia in 1788, they took over much of the Aboriginal land and sacred sites. In 1873, British explorer William Gosse was the first non-Aboriginal person to see Uluru, and he named the monolith Ayers Rock after Chief Secretary of South Australia, Sir Henry Ayres. The site then became a popular tourist attraction, but this often led to disrespectful behavior by visitors, like climbing the rock and leaving trash. How rude! But in 1985, the Australian government had a change of heart and returned the land to its rightful owners, the Anangu people. They officially changed the name of the park to Uluru Kata Tjuta National Park in 1995. And finally, on October 26, 2019, climbing Uluru was banned out of respect for the Aboriginal culture. Visiting Uluru isn't just about seeing a big rock, it's about experiencing a living cultural landscape. The Anangu people have lived in the area for at least 30,000 years, and their traditions and stories are deeply connected to the land. So if you ever travel to Australia, make sure to check out Uluru. Just stay off the monolith and be sure not to litter. Sakwala Chakraya Stargate. Have you ever heard of an ancient stargate? There's a mysterious place called the Stargate of Sri Lanka in the city of Anuradhapura, and some believe that it could have once transported people across the cosmos. This ancient site, also known as Rajarata or the Land of Kings, is packed with secrets that have puzzled researchers and archaeologists for years. So what's so mysterious about it? The heart of this mystery is a carving called the Sakwala Chakraya, which translates to universal cycle. This 6-foot wide chart is etched onto a rock face in Ranmasu Uyana, a 40-acre ancient park with 3 Buddhist temples. This chart looks like a map and is believed by some to hold secrets of the universe. It has 7 concentric circles divided by lines and contains small rectangles with symbols resembling kites, wavy lines, and even umbrellas. In 1911, H.C.P. Bell, a British archaeologist, identified the significance of the Sakwala Chakraya. He suggested that it might be an ancient cosmological chart representing Buddhist beliefs about the universe. However, the exact purpose of this chart is a mystery. Now, why do some people think it's a stargate? Well, theories on the internet have fueled the idea that this chart could be an ancient portal for traveling across the cosmos. Some claim similar symbols have been found in other ancient sites in Egypt and Peru, which adds to the mystery. These theories are fun to think about, but unfortunately there's no concrete evidence to support them. Besides Sakwala Chakraya, Ranmasu Uyana is filled with ruins like bathing pavilions and twin ponds, said to have been used by ancient kings. The site is surrounded by dense jungle, and nearby is Danagala Mountain, which is known as Alien Mountain. This has sparked UFO theories due to its flat top and circular shape. Some even believe it attracts more lightning and shooting stars than other mountains. What in the world would cause that? Researchers like Raj Somadeva from the University of Sri Lanka believe the Sakwala Chakraya might be an early world map rather than a stargate. He points out that ancient Sri Lankans were familiar with astronomy as early as 250 BC, which is made clear by inscriptions mentioning stars and the infinite universe. The biggest challenge in understanding the Sakwala Chakraya is the lack of historical records mentioning it. Despite extensive documentation of the Anuradhapura kingdom, which thrived from 400 AD to 1000 AD, there's no mention of this carving. This absence makes it difficult to date the chart accurately and determine its true purpose. What do you think? Is the Sakwala Chakraya a cosmological map, an ancient stargate, or something even more mysterious? Let me know what you think in the comments. The Valley of Balls. The Valley of Balls doesn't sound like a real place, but it is. This mysterious site in Mangostal, Kazakhstan is home to some of the most baffling stone spheres ever found. But how were they formed? The first thing that catches your eye about these stone spheres is their perfect roundness and smooth surface. They're like giant marbles. Some even have intricate patterns and hollow insides, which hint at skilled craftsmanship and advanced technology. But how could ancient people have made these without modern tools? And where did they come from? Well, there are a couple of theories. Some think they're just natural formations shaped by wind and water over millions of years. But hold on, could nature really create something so perfectly spherical? Not everyone is convinced. Others believe they're man-made, created by a super-advanced civilization that vanished ages ago. Unfortunately, there's not many clues to explain these bizarre spheres. Despite numerous expeditions and studies, researchers are still scratching their heads. The Valley of Balls is a tough place to explore, tucked away in the desert with harsh weather conditions. Plus, access to the site is restricted, making it nearly impossible to dig deeper into this mystery. But then, how will we ever learn the truth? Thankfully though, before the Valley of Balls was restricted, researchers managed to analyze a few of the spheres. Turns out they're made of granite, basalt, or sandstone, but that's just scratching the surface. We still don't have any idea who made them, why they made them, or even when they were made. It's like trying to solve a puzzle with most of the pieces missing. Even though there's a long road with challenges ahead, scientists are determined to crack this case wide open. They're using all sorts of methods, geological analysis, radiocarbon dating, you name it, to piece together the mystery. But it's going to take time and effort. The Valley of Balls isn't giving up its secrets easily. 7,000-year-old road under Mediterranean Sea. You won't believe what researchers found beneath the Mediterranean Sea. It's an ancient road that was built by a mysterious civilization. It's located off the coast of the Croatian island Korčula, and it dates back to the Stone Age. Archaeologists discovered the remains of the road at the submerged site of Solin. This ancient passageway once connected the island to a settlement that now lies 13 to 16 feet beneath the Adriatic Sea. How did they find it? Well, the adventure began in 2021 when researchers spotted something unusual in satellite images of the waters around Korčula. Puzzled by this, they grabbed their snorkels and flippers and dove in to explore. What they found were the walls of an ancient settlement connected to the main island by a narrow strip of land, which is now underwater. But who in the world built this road? The settlement and road were likely constructed by the Neolithic Hvar culture, which lived in the eastern Adriatic. Carbon dating of organic artifacts from Solin dates back to around 4,900 years ago. However, the road itself is thought to be even older, possibly used as early as 7,000 years ago. Now I know what you're thinking. Who are the Hvar? Well, that's a good question. The truth is, not much is known about these ancient people. In fact, the Hvar culture Wikipedia page has just 2 paragraphs, and one of the paragraphs simply mentions this newly discovered road. But artifacts from the Hvar have been found, including pottery and stone axes. That's about all researchers know because in 384 BC, the Greeks showed up and basically took over the island. The road is made of carefully stacked stone slabs about 13 feet wide, buried beneath layers of mud on the seafloor. It's incredible to think that this road has survived for millennia, protected by the Croatian coast's islands, which shield the area from large waves. The discovery didn't stop with the road. Researchers also found numerous Stone Age artifacts like stone axes, flint blades, and fragments of millstones, which were all linked to the Hvar culture. And additionally, they identified a second submerged settlement in Gradina Bay on the opposite side of Korčula, almost identical to Solin. So, with a little more research, we may just learn the secrets of the Hvar culture. Ruby Falls. Have you ever heard of a waterfall hidden inside of a mountain? That's exactly what Ruby Falls is. Located in Chattanooga, Tennessee, Ruby Falls is a breathtaking underground waterfall that's the deepest in the United States. But how was it discovered, and what makes it so special? The story of Ruby Falls begins in 1928 when an explorer named Leo Lambert was searching for a new way into the Lookout Mountain caverns. Eventually, he found a small crevice and squeezed his way through, and after 17 hours of exploring, Lambert stumbled upon a spectacular waterfall 1,120 feet below Lookout Mountain. When he finally emerged from the caverns covered in mud, his wife Ruby greeted him, likely not so happily. But inspired by his discovery, Lambert named the falls after his wife, and in 1929 he opened the site to the public. Ruby Falls is absolutely breathtaking. The waterfall is 145 feet tall. It's fed by natural springs and rainwater, which flows through the cave system and eventually makes its way to the Little Tennessee River. This vertical cave was formed around 200 to 240 million years ago, when a shallow sea covered what is now Tennessee. Over time, tectonic activity and earthquakes created the Lookout Mountain caverns, where Ruby Falls is located. The water, along with acidic groundwater, has carved out stunning formations such as stalactites, stalagmites, and drapery inside the cave. To visit Ruby Falls, you'll board an elevator that takes you down 260 feet into the cave. The journey to the waterfall is an easy hike, but be prepared for some stairs and slippery spots. Along the way, you'll see fascinating cave formations with fun names like Elephant's Foot, Dragon's Foot, and Bacon and Potato Chips. The tour guide will share interesting stories and facts about the area. For example, American Indians, outlaws, moonshiners, and even Civil War soldiers once used these caves. Ruby Falls isn't just about the waterfall. It's a journey through history and geology, revealing secrets of the ancient world. And if you love panoramic views, visiting Lookout Mountain summit should be on your bucket list. Legend says you can see 7 states from the mountain's peak: Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. Mendenhall Ice Caves. Have you ever wanted to explore a magical place that looks like it's straight out of a fairy tale? Well, you can do just that at the Menen Hall Ice Caves in Alaska. These incredible ice formations beneath the Menen Hall Glacier near Juneau are a hidden gem that will leave you in awe. Visiting the Menen Hall Ice Caves is like walking through a maze of sparkling blue ice with walls that glisten and shimmer. These caves are formed by the massive Menen Hall Glacier, a river of ice that has been carving its way through the Alaskan landscape for centuries. As the glacier moves and melts, it creates tunnels and caverns beneath its surface. The formation of these caves is a fascinating process. The weight of the glacier causes the ice to flow like a slow-moving river, and as it moves, it encounters obstacles in the landscape, which create cracks and crevices. But over time, these fissures widen and evolve into the stunning ice caves we see today. The caves are constantly changing, with new formations appearing as the glacier shifts and melts. They first began to form around 3,000 years ago, during a period known as the Little Ice Age. What makes these caves so special? Well, the Menen Hall Ice Caves are unique not just because of their formation, but also because of their incredible beauty. Inside the caves, you'll find ice walls that flow with an enchanting blue light. But why are they blue? The ice is incredibly dense due to centuries of compression. This density allows the ice to absorb most of the light spectrum but reflects the blue wavelengths, creating a mesmerizing blue glow that seems to come from the heart of the ice. Stepping into the Menen Hall Ice Caves is like entering another world. The eerie silence is only broken by the occasional drip of melting ice. The caves are adorned with intricate icicles hanging like chandeliers, and the glistening walls create an almost mystical atmosphere. It's a surreal experience, with the blue light casting an ethereal glow throughout the caverns. Ocontun, the lost Maya city. A man who's often called the real-life Indiana Jones recently discovered a lost Maya city. Archaeologist Ivan Sprich has spent almost 30 years uncovering Maya cities in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. His latest discovery is an ancient city called Ocontun, which means stone column in Yucatec Mayan. This place, hidden deep within the Balamku Ecological Conservation Zone, features numerous pyramid-shaped structures over 50 feet tall. It's believed to have been inhabited between 600 and 800 AD. Sprich and his team used LIDAR, a laser scanning technology, in the summer of 2023 to find man-made structures in the dense jungle. And after receiving LIDAR images, they trekked 37 miles through thick vegetation to reach the site. What they found was astonishing. They uncovered a monumental city. It was built on high ground, complete with pyramids, stone columns, altars, plazas, and even a court for the Maya's ancient ball game. The city covers over 123 acres, with one acropolis alone stretching 262 feet, topped by an 82-foot tall pyramid. Unless you've been living under a rock, you know that the Maya were one of the greatest civilizations in the Western Hemisphere, ruling much of Central America between 200 and 900 AD. They were incredible astronomers, mathematicians, and scribes, creating detailed records of celestial events. They invented the concept of zero and developed a more accurate calendar than the Julian calendar that was used in Europe. They also devised a system of writing as early as 300 BC, likely invented chocolate, the world's first ball game, and rubber. I wonder what authentic Mayan chocolate tasted like. I bet it was better than Hershey's. Their cities, like Tikal and Copan, featured towering pyramid temples and were marvels of stone architecture. So what makes Ocontun unique? The city's strategic location and architectural features suggest that it was a politically important center. Surrounded by wetlands, it provided a sustainable environment for its inhabitants. Sprich believes Ocontun's discovery will shed light on why and when Maya communities migrated inland from the coast, and what led to their sudden collapse around the 10th century. Despite their advancements, the Maya civilization mysteriously began to decline in the 8th and 9th centuries. Scholars have debated whether warfare, droughts, soil depletion, climate change, or a combination of factors caused this decline. Ocontun, like many other Maya cities, was abandoned, but not before its inhabitants adapted the buildings to their changing needs during times of crisis. With each new discovery like this new city, we get closer to understanding who the Maya were and what led to their mysterious collapse. China's ancient playground. A 2-million-year-old playground was just uncovered in China. This site, once a massive lake, provided a perfect environment for early humans, or hominids, and is now revealing fascinating clues about their lives. So what exactly did archaeologists find? At the Haigugo site, as it's called, over 700 stone artifacts and 20,000 fragments were found, dating back between 1.77 and 1.95 million years. These relics were discovered in a small area, measuring less than 64 square feet. And interestingly, most of the tools researchers found are small, ranging from 0.8 inches to 2 inches, suggesting they were made by women and children. One artifact even looks like a toy, possibly crafted by a mother for her child. Why is this discovery important? Well, Professor Wai Qi, a paleoanthropologist with the Chinese Academy of Science, believes this site holds valuable clues about the social structure of early hominids. Wai Qi also thinks they might find clues about these ancient people's migration patterns. The artifacts suggest that this area was a safe social space, possibly even a playground, rather than a living or working area. Unlike typical habitats where many animal remains are found, this site had very few, mostly from herbivores like elephants and rhinoceroses. But why do researchers believe this could have been a playground? The small amount of animal remains and the absence of large stone tools indicates that few adult workers were involved here. Instead, it seems children and their mothers could safely sit by the lake, crafting stone toys and tools. This setting provided a secure environment for them to interact and play, much like modern playgrounds. Traditionally, it's believed that the first hominids migrated out of Africa about 1.8 million years ago. However, this discovery in China, dating back to the same period or even earlier, suggests two possibilities. Either hominids left Africa earlier than previously thought, or they evolved independently in China around the same time. This finding challenges the idea that Africa was the sole origin of mankind. It opens up new discussions about human origins. For how old the site is, it was remarkably well preserved. The tools and artifacts at the site in the Nihewan Basin were likely buried quickly by a sudden event like a landslide. This rapid burial protected them from wind and water erosion, preserving them in excellent condition for researchers to study. Uncovering this ancient playground is like finding a time capsule from 2 million years ago. Thanks for watching. Which one of these ancient places would you like to visit most? Let us know in the comments. If you're new here, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time. Bye.